Welcome back to the science section of our ACT review. Today we will be looking at Passage 4. Passage 4 is a research summaries passage. If you look at this introductory set of sentences, you'll see that we're going to be looking at different studies regarding lake climates. In Study 1, we're looking to take the air temperature readings as we move from the deepest point of the lake toward the shoreline. The results here are in Figure 1. If we write in our trend line, we can see that we've got a positive slope there as we move from the deepest part towards the shoreline in terms of temperature. So there's our temperature readings on the y-axis, and the distance from the deepest part of the lake is on our x-axis. In Study 2, we're looking at air temperatures hourly over 3 sites: the deepest part of the lake, a sand dune site, and a forest site. They're doing this for 30 days, and all of our temperatures are averaged. Here are our two figures for Study 2. If we notice here, we've got the key showing us which line is attributed to the lake, the dunes, and the forest. And while it's hard to see on the screen, the lake line should be a little bit thicker. We also notice that we see our results in the summer, and we see our results in the winter. Okay, question 20. According to Study 1, between what two distances from the point above the deepest part of the lake to the point on the shoreline was there the sharpest increase in temperature? This is a pattern question, and what it's asking us to do is to look for the slope of a line. Now it's asking us to look from the deepest part to the shoreline, so we can actually ignore that part of our figure. Then, if we just go to each one of our answer choices and we draw a little trend line on our graph, we should see which one is steepest. So between 30 meters and 60 meters is here. Between 60 and 90 meters is here, which is a little steeper. Between 90 meters and 120 meters is here, again a little steeper. And between 120 meters and 150 meters is here, and we're back to a very shallow slope. So our answer choice here is H, because that's our steepest line. Question 21. Based on the results of Study 2, which of the following generalizations could be made about the difference in temperatures between summer and winter for the 3 sites? This is a pattern question. So if I pull up my 2 charts here, I've got summer and winter. We're just going to go through each one of our answer choices here. So answer choice A, dune areas are the warmest areas in the summer and the coldest areas in the winter. So here are my dunes in the summer. Here are my dunes in the winter. This statement is true, right? My dune areas are warmer. You can see that up here, I have a much higher temperature than both the lake and the forest. And then down here in winter, I have a much lower temperature than the lake and the forest in the winter. But just to prove it, we're going to go through each of these 3 answer choices just to make sure, which is what you should always do, even if you think answer choice A is correct. Okay, coming back to our graphs, the lake areas are the coldest areas in the winter and the warmest areas in the summer. So there's the lake, that's sometimes warmer, sometimes colder, but it's definitely not warmer than the summer, or than the dunes in the summer. Here is the lake, it's the warmest at some times in the winter. So that answer choice is incorrect. Okay, answer choice C, the forest areas are the warmest areas in the winter and the warmest areas in the summer. Here's my forest area. It's not the warmest in the summer, and it's only sometimes the warmest in the winter, so it's not C. And then our last answer choice, the dune areas are the coldest areas in the winter and the coldest areas in the summer. If I look at this, I see in the summer they're the warmest, in the winter they're the coldest. Now, if you're reading this answer choice too quickly, you may get that first part where it says dune areas are the coldest areas in the winter, and select that, because it's true, they are the coldest areas in the winter, but you need to make sure that you're reading the entire answer choice, because in the summer, they're not the coldest, so it's not D. Question 22. If Study 2 produced results typical of any dune site, which of the following generalizations could be made about seasonal climates? This is an inference question. So let's go back to our graphs from study 2, and we're going to go through each answer choice again. So answer choice F, the temperature variation at the dune site throughout a typical day is greater during the winter than during the summer. So here I have my winter temperatures for my dunes, and I notice that I don't see a lot of variance here. My slope is pretty even. But if I come to the summer, I see a great difference in my early morning temperatures and in my evening temperatures. So if my answer choice F is saying it's greater in the winter than in the summer, that's incorrect. Answer choice G, the temperature variation at the dune site throughout a typical day is less during the winter than it is during the summer. We just looked at that, and that's true. That's the correct answer. But we're going to go through the other two just in case. Question H, the maximum temperature at the dune site throughout a typical winter day is the same as that as a lake site. So if I come back over here to my dunes, here's my dune site in the winter, and my lake site is way up here. So that's obviously incorrect. And J, the maximum temperature at the dune site throughout a typical winter day is the same as that as the forest site. Same thing. Our dune site is way down here, and our forest site is way up here. So that is also incorrect. Question 23. According to study 2, the temperature difference between the forest and dune sites at 9 p.m. on a typical summer day is approximately what? This is a detail question. So we're going to look at our study 2 in the summer. So here's our graph here. I'm going to go to 9 p.m. Now I need to make sure that I'm paying attention to where 9 p.m. is. Right here between midnight and noon is 9 a.m. I need to make sure that I'm looking at 9 p.m. So I'm going to draw a line across to see where my forest temperature is. I'd say maybe 14, and then I draw another line across to see where my dune temperature is. And I would say probably about 22, which gives us 8 degrees Celsius. Question 24. According to figure 2, the conditions at the lake site are most similar to the conditions at the forest site at which of the following times? This is again a detail question. So I'm going to pull my two graphs up, and I'm just going to look at where my lake site and my forest site cross temperature-wise. So in the summer, I see it at about 7 a.m. I see it again at about 3 p.m. In the winter, I see it at about 3 a.m. and in the summer, I see it at 3 p.m. again. So if I look up at my answer choices, I see 3 p.m. and that's our correct answer. That's the end of our questions for today. I just want you to know that we've done a lot of drawing on the graphs as we've gone through answering these questions. You should also have these drawings on your graphs. They will make it much easier to answer the questions if you're marking them up as you're moving along. See you tomorrow.